be taking the test. I'll be taking the test in tomorrow, like in the upcoming week, probably on Wednesday. So yeah. So on Wednesday I'll be taking test, okay, for the modulus function and for the polynomials, right? I have uploaded all the lectures on YouTube and I've sent you guys all the questions, right? For the modulus function and for the polynomial. After this class, inshallah, I'll be sending the question. So you have to solve them. And like most of the polynomial questions are like similar to each other, but in no, sorry, most of the binomial modulus function question were like similar to each other, right? But over here, the questions are different, right? So please try all of them, right? आशीष समझ रहे हैं ना भाई, पूरे करना है, एक दूसरे काम नहीं चलाएगा भाई, समझ रहे हो?
जी जी
And
सर।
okay, so let's begin. So I have the question, and the question says that um okay, so mm, the question is from November, oops, November 2015. Okay, 32 question 6. Okay. So we have given a polynomial p of x, okay, is equals to 8x cubed, okay, plus ax squared, okay, and plus bx minus 1, right? This is a simple polynomial that we have given. A and b are unknown, where a and b are constant, okay, they both are constant, right? Is denoted by p of x, okay, fine. It is given that x plus 1 is the factor of p of x, okay? So, actually, by the way, you know that in this question, there will be three roots because this is a cubic equation, right? So, there will be, I अच्छा कुछ गलत हो गया मेरे ख्याल से okay, so there will be three roots, by the way, right? For this equation, right? Now they're saying, यार आगे पीछे कर दिया मैंने क्वेश्चन क्या? ओके ओके ओके, अच्छा सही, चलो ये कर लेते, कोई मसला नहीं. Okay, so 8x cube ax squared plus bx minus. Okay, fine. Fourth one. Okay, so they're saying x plus 1 is a factor. Okay, इन्होंने दो चीजें दी हुई हैं. They've given us two things. X plus 1 is a factor, okay, of this polynomial. Okay, and this is the first thing, right? The second thing is when p of x, right, when this polynomial is divided by 2x plus 1, okay, 2x plus 1, the um the remainder is 1, okay. So when अच्छा, okay, let me just make it complete. The remainder is 1, okay. The remainder is 1, okay, when p of x is divided by this factor, right? Now, so this is a bit different question from what we have done in yesterday's class, right? So they have given us with a factor, right? So you have to apply the factor theorem, and they have given us this with a remainder. So you have to apply the remainder theorem, right? What does this mean? This means um, when you input x is equals to, okay, x plus 1 is equals to 0 if you consider that, and you take x is equals to negative 1, okay. So when you input the x is equals to negative 1 into the equation, so since the question stated that it is a factor of the polynomial, so it should give 0 as your as or in the answer, right? So this is the first thing, right? Should be a second. So if I input p of -1, so the polynomial should give me 0, right? Because it is the factor of the polynomial. This is what the question says, right? Now, 8 times -1 ka cubed, okay, plus a times -1 squared plus b times -1 minus 1, right? Just solve it, right? So, -1 cube is -1, so times 8 by -8 plus just a minus b is -1, right? And it should be 0, right? Because we know that for a factor, if you input the value of the factor, then the polynomial should be equal to 0, right? So that become a minus b, and if you bring this to the other side, so it become just 9. Okay, guys, is that clear? Yes, Kuchana bolo, please. Is that clear? This is
Yes,
the
sir.
first equation, right? Now, the second equation we have to make using the factor theorem, sorry, remainder theorem, right? And for that, um, if I input, okay, so let me just take 2x plus 1 is equals to 0, right? And x would be equals to -1 over 2, right? So if I input this value, like if I input p of x is equals to -1 over 2, okay, so since it is a remainder, it will give us some sort of remainder, so it should be like the answer should be 1, right? So yeah, if we solve using that, so we will going to have p of -1 over 2 is equals to 8 and then -1 over 2 square cubed, okay, and plus a -1 over 2 squared plus b -1 over 2, right, -1, right? And we know that since it is a remainder theorem, so like all of that gives us 1, right? Because we have to equate it with 1, right? So that should be equal to 1. So you can replace p of x with 1, right? So let's solve it. So so that become just -1. Okay. This become positive a over 4. This become negative b over 2. In that become -1 gives us 1. Okay. So this is -2 and -3 and positive 3. So a over 4 minus b over 2 gives me -3, sorry, positive 3, because these two one become -2 and -2 on the other side become positive 2, positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, right? And if you take the LCM and shift 4 to the other side, so a minus 2b is equals to 4 3 is 12, right? Is that clear? Is the second equation clear? Yes, guys. Irfan, Mafia.
Ji, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Now we have a very simple concept, two equations, just input into the calculator and solve, or like whatever, like however you solve, just solve it, right? So when you solve, you will get, okay. I'm just solving it using elimination, right? A minus 2b is equals to 12, right? Negative, okay, so that goes off, right? This become b, and that become just 3 with a negative sign, okay? And when you input -3 into the equation, so your a become 12, right? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Ji, sir.
अच्छा जी. अच्छा एक सेकंड, ये गलत हो गया. So when you input -3 in negative b, negative negative positive, so 6 हो जाएगा, right? So this becomes 6, right? So these are the two answers, right? Is that clear? So
Ji, sir.
alongside with long division, there's one more possibility of solving the polynomial where you have the factor and the remainder given. So you have to solve it that way, right? So let's try another question. Mm, ओके, अच्छा जी। एक सेकेंड, एक सेकेंड, एक सेकेंड। Okay, so I have a question that says November 2014, 31, question number 3, right? And 33 basically. Okay, so the question says that मेरी equation फिर से गुम हो गई। Here quadratic, एक सेकेंड, सही है। ओके, नहीं नहीं, ये ले लो पहले। November 2016, 33, question number 4, and the question in the question you have given with a polynomial, okay, that is 4x squared, 4x power 4 plus ax squared, right, plus 11x plus b, okay. It is denoted by, okay, fine. It is given that p of x, which is a polynomial of x, is divisible by, okay, so in the question they're saying it is divisible by x squared minus x, I think निकल किया है, minus x and minus 2, नहीं किया सही। ओके, माइनस एक्स, अच्छा जी, गुम हो गया नहीं, माइनस एक्स, ओके, प्लस टू, फाइन। ओके, guys, just give it a try, please, quick. These type of questions, you have to do the long division, okay? We have two options for this one, okay? The long division and the, okay, a better way is to do the long division. Okay, so you have to pick the, अच्छा, solving, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's try it.
तो क्वेश्चन निकालने के लिए हम कांस्टेंट को भी लेंगे।
मतलब नहीं नहीं, बस इनर फर्स्ट टर्म इनर फर्स्ट टर्म डिवाइडेड बाय आउटर।
फोर को लेंगे।
जी जी भाई, जी भाई।
और
डन। Yes, done.
चलो आपके साथ
जी
ही आ
सर
रहा है।
हो गया।
ओके, क्या आंसर आ रहा है?
सर रिमाइंडर या क्वेश्चन?
दोनों रिमाइंडर बता दो। क्वेश्चन ऐसे ही दिख रहा है जैसे मेरा आ रहा है, ये कुछ और आ रहा है।
जी मैं जो रिमाइंडर है वो ए एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस एक्स प्लस 8 प्लस बी आ
ओ
रहा है।
ओ अच्छा, ओके, कंपेयर कर दो, जीरो से तो हो जाएगा सॉल्व। अच्छा जी, एक सेकंड देख लेते हैं। सो वी हैव ए एक्स स्क्वायर्ड एंड देन प्लस 4x प्लस माइनस 8x प्लस 4x, so plus 4x squared, okay, and then plus 3x plus b, okay, so negative 4, okay, so that become negative 4x squared, okay, and negative negative positive 4x, and then 4 to the 8, negative 8, right? So this goes off, okay. mm, Ax squared and then minus x plus 8 plus b, right? इरफान, आपको भी ये आ रहा है?
जी मेरा ये आ रहा था।
Okay, Irfan, are you solving?
Yes, sir.
And what you got? So now, by the way, you can just compare it with zero remainder, because in the question they've mentioned that there won't be any remainder because it is completely or divisible by this factor, right? So I can say that ax squared. Um, so a should be zero then. Ax squared is equals to zero, and so a would be zero, and the second one would be x squared आ रहा है. Hmm. Hey, by the way, wait. We have to take negative 4 and a as well, right? A times negative 4 to get everything cancelled, right? Because inner, look, in the last step, the inner first term is ax squared minus 4x squared, right? And outer first term is x squared, right? So it is going to be a minus 4, right? So a minus 4, right? So एक सेकेंड, इसको जरा चेंज कर लेते हैं प्लीज, right? So when you times everything by that, so it will be a minus 4 n times x squared for the first one, okay, and then for the second one, negative a minus 4 and then x, okay, and for the last one plus a minus 4 and then 2, right? Clear? When I put negative sign, so this become negative, this positive, this become negative, right? And let's solve. So this whole thing will get cancelled out, right? This whole term will get cancelled out, right? And you will be left with 3x, okay, plus ax minus 4x, okay? I just expanded, right? X times a and x times 4, right? and minus 2a, okay, and minus minus plus 8 and plus b, right? So over here, if I further solve it, so that become just ax minus x, okay, and then minus 2a plus b plus 8, right? So now this is the x term, okay, this is the x term and this is the constant term, right? And we know that since the remainder is not there, the value of the remainder is 0, so you have to equate everything by 0, right? And then you can solve, right? So ax plus, sorry, minus x, come on, media by minus x is equals to 0x, right? So that gives you x and x goes off and you'll be left with a is equals to just 1, right? And then b become 2a plus b, that's a negative 2a plus b plus 8 is equals to 0, right? Just put 2 in, so plus b plus 8 is equals to 0, right? So negative 2 and then b, and b become negative 6, right? Is that clear? So since in the question they only said that it is okay, so we have found out the value of a and b, right? Is that clear, guys? Yes. Is this part clear? And
Yes, sir.
perfect. Now, in the second part, they're saying when a and b have these value, find the real root of the equation p of x. Okay, fine. If we have for the second part, they're saying for a and b have these values, find the real root, right? Now, the equation is 4x power 4 plus ax squared plus 11x plus b, right? So 4x power 4 plus, you can write 0x cube, okay, plus we have a as 1, so plus x squared, okay, and then plus 11x and minus b, right? Or minus 6, right? So this is the polynomial we have, right? Now, um, we know that one of the divisor of the polynomial is this one, and the other divisor or the quotient is that one, right? And we know that when you multiply the quotient and the divisor together, and you add the remainder as well, so you will get this equation, right? Agar aapko, if you want to recall, so you can come here. Okay, so if you times the quotient and the divisor together plus the remainder if you have any, right? So plus the remainder is that will give you the dividend, right? Over here we have the equation, right? We have the equation in the dividend, so the that will be equivalent to the dividend equation, right? So I can say that this whole quadratic equation can be splitted into two quadratic equation. Like the first one is given in the question, and that is x squared minus x plus 2, right? It is like the similar way as we used to solve the quadratic one, where we break the quadratic equation into two linear factors, right? Acha. So the second one would be 4x squared plus 4x, and then in a you know that it is 1, so 1 minus 4 minus 3, right? And we don't have any remainder, by the way, right? So these are the two quadratic equations. Now just pick up your calculator and solve these two quadratic equation. Maybe there should be four roots, right? Because it's a quadratic equation, so there should either be four root, or there would be two real root and two imaginary root, or there would all be unreal root, right? So let's see. So 1 minus 1 and then 2. So no, the first one is not giving me the correct one. So 4, 4, negative 3, 1 over 2 and 3 upon 2. Okay. So the real root is, sorry, real root is equals to x negative 3 over 2. Kindly keep in mind, whenever you used to solve the quadratic equation and it gives the answer in iota form or I form, so that is that shows that I sign shows it is the an unreal root or imaginary root, right? So for now you can skip that in this chapter. When we do the complex number, we'll go through it, right? By the way, these are the two possible answers, right? Is that clear? And you guys,
जी सर सर आपने वो राइट साइड पे जो दो फैक्टर्स लिखे हैं वो क्यों लिखे हैं जब आंसर से आ गया?
मतलब बेसिकली ये इसका कोई काम नहीं है. इट इज जस्ट to help you understand that these two factors are basically equivalent to this equation, right?
ओके ओके
Right. लेकिन जिस चीज़ का हमें काम था, right, the thing that is required is this factor, right? Because this is the only factor that when we first solve it, it gives us these two answer and they are real, right? But if you solve this one with a calculator, you will get some answer with iota sign with it, right? So that is not required because they're asking for the real root, okay? And the I sign makes it imaginary, okay? Okay, so there are a lot of questions that contain this thing, the remainder in the factor theorem, right? Where you just need to put in these two values, one from the factor and one from the remainder, and you have to solve, and you then come up with the two linear equation, which you have to solve it simultaneously to find out the answers, right? So this is one type of question which we call the remainder and factor theorem, and one type of the question is where they ask you to find out any factors, right? So let's try those type of questions because they are like quite difficult. Uh, ha, ha, ha. That contain integration. Okay, show that it is given that this is the factor, find the value of a. So I show that when a has this value, the equation f of x is equals to has only one real root. So the quadratic chapter that you guys have learned in your AS level is required over here, okay? So it is given that this is the factor, find the value, okay? So, okay, now I have a question. The question is, so I have a polynomial p of x, okay? The question is from um, June 2013, 32, question number 4, okay? So I have p of x, okay? And that is given by ax cubed minus 20 x squared and then plus x plus 3, right? This is the cubic equation that I have, okay? And they're saying it is given that 3x plus 1, 3x. So they're saying that 3x plus 1 is a factor, okay? This is a factor, right? What does this mean? When you equate this thing equals to 0 and find out the value of x and put that back into the polynomial, so the overall answer would be 0, right? Fine. They're saying find the value of a. Okay, so find a, right? This is not the tricky question. You just need to input the value. So x is equals to negative 1 over 3, right? So when when p of x will have this value, right, the overall result would be 0, right? So let's put in, so 1 over 3 with a negative sign plus, sorry, minus 20 into 1 over 3 with a negative sign and then squared plus, sorry, negative 1 over 3 and then plus 3, right? So just solve it and that is the cube, okay? So this is a times negative 20, a over 27, a over 27, right? And then 3 squared is 20, 3 squared is 9, so minus 20 over 9, okay? And then minus 3 times 3, 9, plus 1, minus 1, 8 over 3, 8 over 3 with a plus sign, right? Clear हो गया? So and this should be equals to 0, right? Now, okay, so if I have okay, you can further solve this one. Okay, so negative a over 27 is equals to a negative 20 over 9 plus 8 over 3 give me 4 over 9. Okay, so that become negative 4 over 9 if I bring it to the other side. 4 and 4 get cancelled. 4 9 ones are 9, 9 threes are 27, 3 fours are 12. So a is 12, right? Is that clear? Now, in the second part, this one is easy, right? In the second part, they're saying, um, what they're saying. Okay, when a has this value, factorize p of x completely. Okay, factorize p of x completely, completely, right? So there could be two possible options, right? One is going to be the long division and the other is the comparison method, but let's just try the long division. Okay, okay, so I can do I can do the comparison. Okay, let's try comparison. तुम लोग को पता नहीं होगा, but let's try it. Okay, so a is 12x cube, okay, minus 20x squared plus x plus 3, right? This is the cubic equation that I have. They're saying one of the factor having the value of 3x plus 1, right? And there should be one more factor because this is the linear factor. So the other factor would be quadratic factor because the overall should be equal to the cubic one, right? The cubic one, right? So let me take ax squared plus. Okay. Okay. What you have to compare is you have to just make the same power and you have to compare. That's it. So if I have if I compare the cube term, right? So I have 12 on the left hand side and I have 3a on the right hand side, right? So wait, 3x cube and right. If I multiply this with this, so I'll get a as 12, right? So a is 12, right? Now the second thing is now if I compare only x term, right? X squared term, sorry, x squared term. So over here I have negative 20 x squared, and from the at the right hand side I have 3x. When I multiply that 3x with bx, so it will be squared, and then when I multiply this and this, I'll get squared, right? So these are the two possible values. So 3bx, okay, squared plus ax squared, right? When I multiply these two values, right? So so that become we know that a is 12, right? So just cancel out every x and solve, right? Negative 20 is equals to 3b plus 12, right? So when you take 12 to the other side, so that become negative 12, and that negative 12 become negative 22 divided by 3. नहीं नहीं नहीं, it should be some whole number. क्या मेरे पास ये आ रहा है पूरा? A is 12, yes, and okay.
So it
Again,
should be minus 32, right?
Wait.
The when 12 to
Wait,
I'd say.
just a minute, please. Where should be minus 32?
The second equation, the 3b is equals to minus 32.
Actually, 20, 32. Wait. Yes, but I calculate this one incorrect. 3 ones are 3, 3 fours are 12, right? So this should be 4, right? This was my mistake. Okay. Okay, so now over here, this would just be 4. Okay, so when you take this 4 to the other side, so that become negative 24. Okay, and negative 24 divided by 3 gives you 8. So B is negative 8, right? So B is negative 8. Is that clear? Yes, guys.
Yes, sir.
And for the constant, for the constant, when you multiply, from at the right hand side, the constant is just 3. Okay, and at the left hand side, 1 times C is a constant, right? Acha, you can say, what about x? What about x term, right? So you can just ignore it, right? Because it will be easy for us to just go through 3c and, sorry, just c. Okay, so c is like the constant, right? So the second factor is 4x squared, okay, minus 8x, okay, plus 3, right? So this is the second factor. If you want to factorize it further, so you can just put it into the calculator, right? And that will give you a further factor, right? So 2x minus 3, right? And another factor is 2x minus 1, right? This is another factor, right? If you don't like this method, then you can do it with long division, okay? And as far as long division is concerned, right, you have to put the numerator in, right? So 12, wait, 12x cube, okay, plus, sorry, minus 20x squared, and you have plus x, and you have plus 30, plus 3, right? Now it should be so the factor that you know the factor that you know is 3x plus 1, right? Yes, 3x plus 1. Okay. So what you need to do is okay. So what you need to do is you have to pick the terms, okay? So the inner first term divided by outer first term, so you'll get 4x squared for the first term, right? And when you multiply everything, so you will get 3 fours are 12 x cube, right? And then 3 ये हो जाएगा plus 4x squared, right? And negative and negative, right? So this cancels out, and that become just negative 24x squared, right? And the rest of the thing will be just shifted downward, right? Then inner first term divided by outer first term, so you'll get negative 8, right? Because 24x squared divided by 3x, so that be just negative 8x, okay? So it would be 24 negative 24x squared, okay, and then negative 8, okay. Ooh, wait, and negative 8, negative 8x, okay, and yes, when you solve, yes, इसका जो WhatsApp है ना ये नहीं खुला हुआ होना चाहिए. Okay, so when you solve negative, negative, positive, and positive, so this goes off, and that become um 9x plus 3, right? Okay, so now you can only have 3, okay, because inner first term divided by outer first term. So 3 times 3, 9x. यार ये यहाँ पे क्यों ले रहा है? And plus 3. Okay, so this is 0 and 0, right? Is that clear? हाँ जी.
जी सर।
Yes, sir.
Okay. So fine. Now I'm stopping the class right here. Okay. They're just okay. I'm stopping the class right here. I'll be sending you the questions. Okay. You have to complete it. Okay. That's it.